They tried to evict me from my lake cabin, the one place I'd found peace after 20 years as a Marine sniper. The HOA's notice was nailed to my door, bold letters screaming, "Vacate in 72 hours," signed by their president, Diane Foster, who looked at me like I was dirt. I stood there, my old service dog tags heavy in my pocket, thinking of the battles I'd fought, overseas and in my own heart. But Diane didn't know who she was up against. My name's Thomas Reed, 60, retired gunnery sergeant from Texas. I'd spent 2 decades in the Marines, my sniper scope steady through sandstorms and chaos, saving lives with every shot. I moved to Lakeview Pines, a quiet lakeside community, to heal after losing my brother, Jack, my spotter, in combat. The cabin was his dream, bought with our savings in 1995. For a while it was perfect. Neighbors shared beers, kids fished in the lake. Then Diane took over the HOA, 50, with a cold stare and a need to control. She made rules that crushed us. No docks without approval, no flags on porches, no dogs off leash. Folks paid her fines, too scared to fight. But I'd faced worse than her in war zones. I knew how to outlast an enemy. It started with a small American flag I hung on my porch for Jack. He'd carried one on every mission. One morning, Diane stormed over, her clipboard shaking. "Thomas, that flag's unapproved," she snapped. "Take it down, or you'll pay." I told her it honored my brother, a Marine. Her lips curled. "Rules don't care about your stories. Comply or else." I stood tall, my Marine training keeping me calm. "You don't scare me, Diane," I said. She walked away, but her eyes promised trouble. The next day, a $300 fine arrived for unauthorized decoration. I ignored it, my sniper's patience kicking in. By Wednesday, another notice came. $250 for my boat parked by my dock, calling it unsightly. My boat, where I taught my niece to fish, had been there years, no complaints. Neighbors avoided me, whispering Diane's lies, that I was trouble, lowering property values. My niece, Sarah, 12, saw the notices and asked, "Uncle Tom, are we losing the cabin?" Her voice broke me. I hugged her, promising, "Not while I'm here." I started documenting everything. Photos of notices, timestamps of Diane's visits. My Marine instincts told me to watch and wait. Then she crossed a line. Friday morning, I found my flag ripped down, shredded on my lawn. A new notice read, "Non-compliant item removed." Eviction process started. My blood boiled. That flag was Jack's memory, my service, my pride. I clenched my fists, years of sniper focus sharpening my mind. Diane thought she'd won, but I was already planning. I went inside, pulled out my old Marine footlocker, and found the property records Jack and I had filed. Those papers held a secret Diane couldn't imagine, and I was ready to turn her world upside down. The shredded flag lay in my hands, pieces of Jack's memory torn apart by Diane's cruelty. My Marine training kept me steady, but inside I burned. Those property records for my footlocker were my weapon. Jack and I had bought Lakeview Pines' 30-acre lakefront in 1995, leasing most of it to the HOA for $5 a year to build a community. I'd kept the lease out of loyalty to his dream, but Diane's war on me changed everything. She thought she owned this place, but I held the real power. The next morning, a new notice arrived, $400 fine for excessive dock clutter, targeting my fishing gear. My dock, where Sarah and I spent summers, was spotless. Diane was tightening the noose, and neighbors shunned me, scared of her wrath. Even old Mr. Carter, who'd shared war stories with me, avoided my gaze. Diane had painted me as the enemy. I called my old Marine buddy, Luke Bennett, 58, now a property lawyer. Over coffee, he studied the records. "Tom, this is huge," he said, grinning. "You own the lakefront. You can raise the lease to market rate, $10,000 per acre, $300,000 a year." My sniper's mind clicked. Diane's fines were nothing compared to that. But I wanted more than money. I wanted her exposed. I dug into the HOA's public records, my training guiding me to look for cracks. What I found chilled me. Diane had hiked HOA fees from $100 to $400 a month without a vote, funneling $8,000 to a maintenance fund run by her brother, a contractor with no license. She'd forged board approvals to stay president. It wasn't just harassment, it was theft. I installed a small trail camera by my dock, hidden like I'd done on recon missions. It caught Diane at night, inspecting my boat, jotting notes. She was planning something big. That evening, Sarah knocked, her eyes red. "Uncle Tom, Diane yelled at me for fishing," she said. "She said I'm banned from the lake." My heart sank. Diane was hurting my niece to break me. "We'll fix this, kid," I said, hugging her. I showed her the records, explaining my plan. Her face lit up. "You're like a superhero," she whispered. I smiled, but warned her to stay quiet. Diane had eyes everywhere. Then came the first twist. Tuesday, a tow truck rolled up, hooking my boat. I ran out shouting, "That's my property." The driver flashed a paper signed by Diane for unapproved equipment. My boat was gone in minutes. A new notice followed. 72-hour eviction for repeated violations. My sniper focus sharpened. I'd faced ambushes before, and this was one. I called Luke, and we drafted a lease adjustment. $300,000 annually, effective in 30 days. But I held off sending it. I needed proof of Diane's crimes. The second twist hit that night. Mr. Carter showed up looking guilty. "Tom, Diane's lying about you," he said. "She threatened to fine me $600 if I didn't vote against you at the next meeting." He handed me a phone with texts from Diane, bullying neighbors into silence. One text hinted she'd paid off a county clerk to push my eviction. My blood ran cold. This was bigger than I thought. "We're with you," Mr. Carter said, his voice firm. I nodded, feeling the weight of his trust. The third twist came at dawn. My camera caught Diane's brother, Greg, tampering with my dock, loosening bolts. He was sabotaging my property to justify the eviction. I saved the footage, my marine instincts screaming to act. Diane thought she was hunting me, but I was the sniper, lining up my shot. The HOA meeting was in 2 days, and I was ready to turn her ambush into mine. Diane's brother Greg's shadow lingered on my dock footage, his wrench loosening bolts like a coward in the night. My marine sniper instincts kicked in, every detail mattered, and I was building a kill shot of evidence. The shredded flag, stolen boat, and now sabotage were Diane's war, but I'd learned in combat to wait for the perfect moment. My niece Sarah's scared eyes fueled me. I wouldn't let Diane steal her safe place. The next morning, a new notice hit my door, $500 fine for unsafe dock conditions, blaming me for Greg's tampering. The eviction countdown glared. 48 hours. Neighbors avoided me, Diane's lies spreading like wildfire. I kept calm, my sniper training guiding me to observe, not react. I met Luke, my lawyer, at his office. "Tom, her brother's sabotage is criminal," he said, watching the footage. "We can nail them for vandalism and fraud." I nodded, but my gut screamed Diane had more planned. I checked the HOA records again, finding a bombshell. Diane had redirected $6,000 in community funds to a fake lake safety project, wired to Greg's account. It was theft, plain and simple. I added it to my evidence, but the first twist hit hard. That afternoon, a crowd gathered outside my cabin. Diane stood on my lawn, megaphone blaring. "Thomas Reed's breaking our rules," she shouted. "His dock's a danger, and he's defying us." Neighbors murmured, some nodding. I stepped out, heart steady. "Diane, you sent your brother to wreck my dock," I said, holding up my phone with the footage. The crowd gasped as I played it, Greg's face clear. Diane's smile faltered. "That's fake," she yelled, but doubt spread. Sarah ran to me, whispering, "Uncle Tom, I'm scared." I hugged her, feeling her tremble. "Stay strong, kid," I said, my marine resolve hardening. Then came the second twist. A county worker, Brian Tate, arrived with a clipboard. "Mr. Reed, your cabin's on unpermitted land," he said, showing a report from Diane. "You've got 48 hours to vacate." My stomach dropped. My cabin, Jack's Dream, was legal. I checked the deeds. Brian looked uneasy. "Diane's pushing hard," he muttered. "She's got friends in the county." I knew then. Diane was rigging the system. I called Luke, who confirmed the report was forged. "She's desperate," he said. "We'll counter this." That night, I heard a crash. My porch light was smashed, glass scattered. A note read, "Leave, sniper, or lose it all." My camera caught a hooded figure, Greg again. My blood boiled, but I stayed focused, like lining up a shot. I called Deputy Cole, a Marine vet I'd met locally. "Tom, Diane's been dodging complaints for years," he said, taking the note. "We're watching her." The third twist shook me. Sarah's teacher, Mrs. Ellis, came over, her face pale. "Diane's spreading rumors you're dangerous," she said. "She told parents you're hiding weapons." My heart sank. Diane was attacking my Marine past to scare people. Mrs. Ellis handed me a flyer Diane had distributed, calling me unstable. But she added, "I found old HOA notes. Diane's been skimming dues since she started." The notes showed $10,000 missing, unaccounted for. I thanked her, my mind racing. Diane was unraveling, but her lies hurt. Sarah overheard, tears falling. "Are you in trouble because of me?" she asked. I knelt, holding her. "No, kid. I'm fighting for us." The fourth twist came at midnight. Luke called urgent. "Tom, Diane's brother filed a complaint, saying you threatened him." I laughed bitter. "He's the one breaking my dock." Luke said, "We've got your footage, but Diane's planning an emergency HOA meeting to vote you out." I gripped my dog tags, Jack's voice in my head. "Stay sharp, brother." The meeting was tomorrow, and I was ready. My evidence, footage, notes, records, was locked and loaded. Diane thought she'd cornered me, but this Marine sniper was about to flip the battlefield. Diane's lies about my Marine past cut deep, but my sniper training kept me focused. The broken porch light and her brother Greg's note, "Leave, sniper," were desperate moves, but I had footage, HOA records, and Mrs. Ellis's notes proving Diane's theft. Sarah's tearful question, "Are you in trouble because of me?" haunted me. I'd sworn to protect her, and no HOA tyrant would stop me. The emergency meeting was hours away, and I was ready to strike. That morning, I found a new notice, $600 fine for disturbing community peace, tied to Diane's flyer calling me dangerous. My eviction clock ticked, 24 hours. I met Luke at the lake, his face grim. "Tom, Diane's pushing the county to seize your cabin," he said. "We've got the forged report, but she's got allies." My heart raced, but I nodded. "Let's hit her at the meeting." I hid another camera by my cabin, sniper instinct sharp. It caught Greg again, this time slashing my boat's tarp. I saved the clip, my evidence growing. The first twist hit at noon. Deputy Cole called. "Tom, we found Diane's car near your dock the night it was tampered," he said. "Paint from your bolts matches her bumper." My jaw tightened. Diane wasn't just directing Greg, she was hands-on. "Can you hold her?" I asked. Cole sighed. "Not yet, but we're close." I felt the battlefield shift, but Diane was slippery. At the community center, the meeting was packed, 50 neighbors, tense and divided. Diane stood at the front, her voice sharp. "Thomas Reed's a threat," she declared, holding up her flyer. "He's armed, unstable, and defying our rules." Sarah clung to me, scared. I whispered, "Stay strong, kid." I stood calm. "Diane, you slashed my flag and wrecked my dock," I said. "I've got proof." I played the footage, Greg on my dock, Diane's car nearby. The crowd gasped. Diane shouted, "Lies. He's framing me." But then the second twist landed. Mrs. Ellis stood, her voice steady. "Diane, you stole $10,000 from us," she said, holding up her HOA notes. "I found your bank transfers to Greg." Neighbors shouted, "Thief." Diane's face paled, but she sneered, "You're all gullible." That's when Mr. Carter, my old friend, stood. "Diane threatened my family to vote for her," he said, showing her texts. The room erupted. Sarah squeezed my hand, her fear easing. I felt Jack's pride in me, pushing me forward. The third twist was a gut punch. A man in the back, Jim Tate, a quiet retiree, stood. "Diane tried to sell our lakefront," he said, holding a letter. "She met developers last month, promising them our land." The crowd roared, "What?" The letter, signed by Diane, offered 10 acres for $1 million. I stared, stunned. She'd betray everyone. "That's fake." Diane screamed, but Jim's proof was real. I said, "Diane, I own that lakefront." My brother and I leased it to the HOA for $5 a year. I held up the 1995 deed. I'm raising the lease to $300,000 in 30 days. The room went silent, then cheered. Diane's eyes blazed. You can't, she yelled. I can, I said, my sniper calm unshaken. The fourth twist came as Cole entered, badge glinting. Diane Foster, you're under investigation for vandalism and fraud, he said. We found your prints on the note at Tom's cabin. Neighbors gasped, some clapping. Diane lunged at me, screaming, You'll pay, sniper. Cole restrained her, but she spat, My county friends will crush you. The crowd booed, turning on her. Sarah hugged me, whispering, You did it, Uncle Tom. I held her tight, but Diane's threat lingered. I showed the crowd her bank records, proving her theft. Mr. Carter shouted, Get her out. As Cole led Diane away, I knew she'd try one last move. My marine senses were on high alert, ready for her final shot. The community was rallying, but the war wasn't over. Diane's screams as Deputy Cole dragged her out echoed like a call to justice in my soul. My marine heart, forged in the fires of combat, knew the fight wasn't over, but the Lord had guided my aim true. Sarah's arms around me, her whisper of faith, felt like a blessing. I held my brother Jack's deed, a sacred promise to protect Lakeview Pines. Diane's fingerprints on that threatening note and her stolen $10,000 were sins laid bare, but her county allies were a shadow still lurking. I prayed for strength, my sniper's calm, a gift from above. The next morning, neighbors gathered at my cabin, their faces lit with hope. Mr. Carter clapped my shoulder. Tom, you're our shield, he said. I shook my head, humble. We're all fighting for what's right. Sarah handed me a new flag, stitched by her hands. For Uncle Jack, she said. I hung it high, a symbol of our stand. Then the first twist struck. Luke called, his voice urgent. Tom, Diane's out on bail. Her county friend, Roger Klein, pulled strings. My heart sank. Roger, a corrupt clerk I'd clashed with in my surveying days, was her ally. He's pushing a fake lien on your land, Luke said. I gripped my dog tags, praying for patience. Diane was testing my resolve, but I'd faced worse in battle. I told Luke, let's expose them. That afternoon, the second twist hit. Mrs. Ellis rushed over, holding a USB drive. Tom, I hacked Diane's HOA email, she confessed, her voice shaky but righteous. She's been bribing Roger with $5,000 from our dues. The emails showed Diane plotting to sell our lakefront, promising Roger a cut. I felt the Lord's hand guiding us. Her wickedness was unraveling. You're brave, Mrs. Ellis, I said, my voice warm. She smiled, tears falling. I'm doing right by my neighbors. Sarah overheard, her eyes wide. Is Diane gonna hurt us? I knelt, holding her hands. God's with us, kid. We'll win. The third twist came at dusk. Jim Tate knocked, his face grim. Tom, Diane's brother Greg, burned my shed last night, he said, showing photos of ashes. A note in the rubble read, Back off, or you're next. My blood boiled. Greg was Diane's sword, striking the faithful. I called Cole, who confirmed Greg's prints on the note. We're hunting him, Cole said, but Diane's covering his tracks. I added Jim's photos to my evidence, my sniper's eye cataloging every detail. That night, Sarah and I prayed by the lake, her small voice asking for protection. I felt Jack's spirit, urging me to stand firm. Then the fourth twist landed. A news truck pulled up, reporter Anna Lee from Channel 9. Mr. Reed, your story's spreading, she said. Diane's tied to a land fraud ring across 3 counties. My jaw dropped. Diane wasn't just our enemy. She was a Goliath, preying on communities. Anna showed me documents. Diane and Roger had scammed $1.5 million from other HOAs. Your fight's inspiring people, she said. I nodded, humbled. It's for my family, my neighbors. Anna filmed me by the flag, Sarah at my side, our cabin glowing in the sunset. This Marine's taking a stand, she said. The broadcast aired that night, neighbors watching at Mr. Carter's house. The screen showed Diane's emails, Greg's crimes, and my deed. Mrs. Ellis cried, You're our David, Tom. I shook my head. We're all David, fighting for what's right. But Diane's threat, her county friends, gnawed at me. As we left, Cole pulled me aside. Tom, Greg's hiding at Diane's house. We're raiding it tonight. My heart raced. I wanted to join, my sniper instincts itching, but Sarah needed me. I went home, praying for justice. Late that night, Anna called. Tom, the story's gone viral. The county's investigating Roger. I smiled, feeling God's plan unfold. But a final twist hit. A text from an unknown number. Sniper, your cabin burns tomorrow. My Marine comm held, but fear for Sarah gripped me. I called Cole, ready to end this war with righteousness on my side. The text, Sniper, your cabin burns tomorrow, was a dagger in my heart, but my Marine soul stood firm, guided by faith. Sarah slept beside me, her breathing steady, unaware of the evil circling us. Diane's fraud ring, exposed by Anna's news, had shaken Lakeview Pines, but her threat to burn my cabin, Jack's legacy, was a line she'd regret crossing. I prayed for courage, my sniper's eye sharp, knowing the Lord was my shield. Deputy Cole's raid on Diane's house was underway, and I clutched my dog tags, ready for justice. At dawn, the first twist hit. Cole called. Tom, we got Greg, he said. He confessed to the shed fire and your dock sabotage. Diane paid him $2,000. My heart lifted. Greg's fall was a victory. But Cole's voice darkened. Diane's vanished. She slipped out before we arrived. My blood ran cold. Diane was on the run, a serpent slithering free. I told Sarah to stay with Mrs. Ellis. Her safety my priority. God's watching us, I said, kissing her forehead. She nodded, clutching the flag she'd made. The second twist came at noon. Anna Lee, the reporter, arrived with new evidence. Tom, we found Diane's old laptop in a dumpster, she said. It's got emails to a developer, planning to torch your cabin for insurance money. I stared, stunned. Diane wasn't just threatening. She'd schemed to burn my home for $500,000. The emails named Roger Klein, her county ally, as her partner. Anna added, Roger's been arrested, but Diane's still out there. I felt the Lord's hand, exposing her sins, but fear for my cabin grew. I showed Anna my deed, my voice steady. This land's mine, and I'll fight for it. She nodded, filming me by the lake, my cabin glowing in the sunlight. That afternoon, the third twist struck. Mr. Carter rushed over, his face pale. Tom, someone tried to break into the HOA office last night, he said. They wanted our lease records. My camera, hidden nearby, caught a woman, Diane, disguised in a hoodie, prying the lock. My sniper instincts flared. She was after my deed to fake her own claim. I called Cole, who confirmed Diane's fingerprints on the lock. She's desperate, he said. We're tracking her phone. I prayed for her capture, my faith unwavering. The fourth twist hit at dusk. Sarah's teacher, Mrs. Ellis, called, her voice trembling. Tom, Diane came to my house today, she said. She threatened my kids if I didn't stop helping you. My heart broke. Diane was attacking the faithful to silence us. Mrs. Ellis added, I recorded her. The audio was chilling. Diane's voice, Cole, saying, back off, or your family pays. I thanked her, my resolve hardening. You're a warrior, I said, feeling her courage. Sarah overheard, her eyes wide. Uncle Tom, is she gonna hurt Mrs. Ellis? I held her, my voice firm. Not while I'm here, kid. God's got us. The fifth twist came that night. Luke burst in, holding a county file. Tom, Diane forged a new lease, claiming she owns the lakefront, he said. She filed it with Rogers, help before his arrest. My jaw clenched. She tried to steal my land outright. Luke grinned. But your 1995 deed's ironclad. We're filing to void her claim. I nodded, my sniper focus locked on the endgame. Neighbors gathered at my cabin, their faces fierce. Mr. Carter said, Tom, you're our rock. I shook my head. We're all fighting for righteousness. Anna's next broadcast aired, showing Diane's laptop emails and Mrs. Ellis's recording. The screen flashed Marine sniper fights, HOA fraud, my flag waving proud. Neighbors cheered, some praying, their faith afire. But as we watched, a final twist landed. My phone buzzed, a photo of my cabin, flames drawn over it, with "Tonight" scrawled in red. Diane was close, her venom ready to strike. I called Cole, my voice calm. "She's coming for me." He said, "We're patrolling. Stay sharp." I stood by my cabin, Sarah safe with Mrs. Ellis, my sniper's heart ready. The Lord had brought us this far, and I'd faced Diane's final attack with faith and fire. The photo of my cabin, flames scrawled over it, was a devil's taunt, but my Marine heart stood firm, anchored by faith. Sarah was safe with Mrs. Ellis, and Lakeview Pines burned with righteous anger after Anna's broadcast exposed Diane's fraud ring. I stood by my lake, praying for strength, my sniper's calm, a gift from God. Diane was out there, her venom ready to strike, but I'd faced ambushes before. The Lord had guided my aim, and I trusted His plan. At dawn, the first twist hit. Deputy Cole called. "Tom, we found Diane's hideout, an old cabin by the lake," he said. "She left a burner phone with texts planning your cabin's fire." My pulse quickened. Diane was closer than I thought. But Cole added, "She's gone again, and we found gas cans." Fear gripped me, but I prayed, my sniper focus sharp. I checked my hidden cameras, spotting a new figure near my dock, Diane, in a cap, carrying a bag. I sent the footage to Cole, my heart steady. The second twist came at noon. Anna Lee arrived, her face tense. "Tom, we got a tip. Diane's been laundering HOA money through a fake charity," she said. "It's linked to her fraud ring, $2 million stolen from communities." I gasped. Diane's sins were deeper than I'd imagined. Anna showed bank records, Diane's name tied to the charity's account. "Your story's national now," she said. "People are calling you a hero." I shook my head, humble. "I'm just fighting for what's right." Sarah ran up, holding a drawing of our flag. "For you, Uncle Tom," she said. I hugged her, feeling God's light in her smile. The third twist struck that afternoon. Mr. Carter burst in, holding a scorched HOA ledger. "Tom, this was in my yard," he said. "Diane tried to burn it." The ledger showed $15,000 more in stolen dues, hidden by Diane's fake projects. My blood boiled. She tried to destroy evidence, but God preserved it. I called Luke, who said, "This voids her forged lease. We're suing her for fraud." I nodded, my sniper's eye on the endgame. The fourth twist hit at dusk. Mrs. Ellis called, her voice shaking. "Tom, Diane's brother Greg turned himself in," she said. "He's testifying against her." Greg had confessed to the HOA office break-in and shed fire, saying Diane threatened his family. My heart softened. Greg was lost, but seeking redemption. I prayed for him, feeling the Lord's mercy. Sarah overheard, asking, "Is Greg sorry?" I nodded. Sometimes people find their way back. The fifth twist came that night. Cole arrived, his face grim. "Tom, we found Diane's car near your cabin," he said. "She left a note. Sniper, you can't stop me." My stomach dropped. I checked my cameras. Diane had planted a gas can by my porch, caught clear as day. Cole took it as evidence, saying, "We're closing in." Neighbors gathered, their faces fierce. Mr. Carter said, "Tom, we're praying for you." I felt their faith, a wall against Diane's evil. Anna's next broadcast aired, showing the ledger and Greg's confession. The screen read, "Marine sniper defends home, my cabin proud against the lake." Neighbors cheered, some crying, their voices a chorus of justice. Sarah held my hand, whispering, "God's with us, right?" I nodded, my soul strong. But the sixth twist landed as we watched. My phone buzzed, a video from Diane, her face twisted. "Your cabin's next, sniper," she hissed, holding a lighter by my dock. My heart stopped. She was steps away. I called Cole, who said, "We're patrolling your land now." I grabbed my old Marine flashlight, scanning the lake. A shadow moved, Diane creeping toward my cabin. I prayed, my sniper instinct alive, ready to protect my home. The community stood with me, their faith afire. Diane thought she'd burn us down, but the Lord had other plans, and this Marine was ready for her final strike. Diane's video, her lighter flickering by my dock, was a call to war, but my Marine soul was ready, steadied by faith. Sarah was safe with Mrs. Ellis, and Lakeview Pines stood united, their prayers a shield. I gripped my flashlight, my sniper instinct sharp, scanning the lake where Diane lurked. Deputy Cole's patrols were close, but I knew this fight was mine. The Lord had guided me through battles, and this was my stand for Jack's dream, for Sarah's future. I whispered a prayer, my dog tags warm against my chest. The first twist hit fast. Cole radioed, his voice tense. "Tom, we spotted Diane by the lake, but she's armed a gas can and a knife." My heart raced. She wasn't just threatening. She was ready to strike. I moved to my porch, low and silent, my sniper training kicking in. My cabin glowed in the moonlight, the flag Sarah made waving proud. I spotted her shadow near my dock, gas can in hand. "Diane, stop!" I shouted, my voice cutting the night. She froze, her eyes wild. "You're done, sniper," she screamed, raising the can. The second twist came as Cole's spotlight hit her, his gun drawn. "Drop it, Diane," he yelled. She laughed, tossing the can at my dock, splashing gas. I sprinted forward, my marine speed closing the gap. She swung her knife, but I dodged, grabbing her wrist, my training precise. "You're not burning my home," I said, twisting her arm until she dropped the blade. Cole cuffed her, but she spat, "My friends will finish you." The third twist landed hard. Anna Lee's news van screeched up, her camera rolling. "Tom, we found Diane's accomplice," she said. Her team had traced the burner phone to Roger Klein's assistant, who'd confessed to forging the lease. Roger, already arrested, had turned on Diane, revealing her $2 million fraud ring. Anna's broadcast was live, showing Diane's arrest, my cabin, and Sarah's flag. "This Marine stopped a tyrant," Anna said. Neighbors cheered from their homes, their faith a chorus. The fourth twist struck as Cole searched Diane's bag. "Tom, look at this," he said, pulling out a fake deed with my cabin's title, signed by Diane. She'd planned to claim my land after burning it, framing me for arson. My blood boiled, but I stayed calm, my sniper focus unbroken. "You're finished, Diane," I said. She sneered, "You'll never win." But the crowd boomed, "Yes, he will." Sarah ran to me, her eyes bright. "You saved us, Uncle Tom." I hugged her, feeling Jack's spirit. The fifth twist came at dawn. Luke arrived grinning. "Tom, the county voided Diane's lease and fined her $50,000 for fraud," he said. "Your deed's untouchable." I'd raised the HOA lease to $300,000, but only for 1 year, to fund a community dock and park. After that, I'd honor Jack's $5 lease. Neighbors gathered, electing Mrs. Ellis president. "No more fear," she said, her voice strong. Mr. Carter and Jim joined the board, planning a memorial for Jack by the lake. Sarah smiled, her fear gone. The sixth twist sealed it. Anna's story went global, sparking the Lakeview Pact, a state law banning HOA fraud, inspired by our fight. Diane faced charges for vandalism, arson, and theft, her ring dismantled. Greg testified, seeking redemption. I stood on my dock, Sarah fishing beside me, the lake sparkling. Cole clapped my shoulder. "You're a hero, Marine." I shook my head. Just a man doing right. That night, we prayed as a community, thanking God for justice. I looked at my cabin, the flag high, and felt peace. Diane's evil had tested us, but faith and unity prevailed. The moral was clear. True strength isn't in power, but in standing for what's right together. As a sniper, I'd learned to aim true. As a Marine, I'd learned to fight for family. Lakeview Pines was whole, and so was I.